Hey everybody, this is Double Dog underscore 88 coming to you this Monday morning. Welcome everybody. It is a little chilly, no doubt. No doubt it's a little chilly right now. Gene, what's up? What's going on, Gene? Good morning, good morning. Fuck you. Good morning. Oh, how are everybody doing today? It's a little chilly out here. Not gonna lie, it is chilly. Woo, 27 degrees. What is it here? Let me look. Well, it says 36, but man, it's still chilly, everybody. Oh, yes, it is a good day, though. Being back with the people you care about, no doubt. That's just a fact. Tanya, good morning. Good morning. Ruff, ruff, ruff. To all the dogs in the house. Ruff, ruff. Good to have you all. So, I had used a picture. I want to go ahead and let you all know now. I used a picture from another streamer. It was a picture of the perp walking up the stairs. And apparently, somebody came on and messaged me and said I should not be using their picture. I always give credit to the creators. So, you know, I don't know what their deal is or what the issue was, but I always give credit to the creator. It was a picture that was sent in from the guy that we have been talking about for the last few days, which is Richard. Apparently, somebody was upset that I used the picture, so it is what it is. That's why I didn't even put a picture up today. Just want to give you all heads up. You know, that's where we're at. Good morning, Lisa. Good to have you. So here's what's going on, everybody. I'm not going to mention any other streamers. And if you can, don't mention them either because I don't want anybody to, I really don't care, honestly, but I don't like the drama. So that is what it is. So let's just remember that if you could. Moderators, do your thing, do the thing that you guys do best. You're in there for a reason, make it happen. You have my full trust and confidence. All right. So now, did you guys watch a certain streamer that made a call? That's fine, Lisa. That's fine. No worries. No worries. Just glad you're here. Tanya says the information about the CC guy appears false. It looks like he was incarcerated. Okay, okay. Whiskey River, good morning. Is everyone ready for another week of bull crazy? No doubt, no doubt. So, did you guys happen to catch a streamer yesterday when Richard called in and was actually talking to the streamer, and it wasn't necessarily a nice conversation, if you will? Did you guys see the information or no? No. So there was a so apparently Richard, people are starting to realize that Richard may not be all mentally there. And a lot of people have been saying that they believe what we have been saying from the get go, that this man, it very well could be a definitely person of interest and that they need to check him out in a heartbeat. because he knew too many facts, too many details, too many nuances of how supposedly this all happened to Nancy. And it's just not normal, because how do you know the integral little details unless you either know the people or you are one of the people? You understand what I'm saying? You're very welcome. So apparently, what ended up happening is a streamer got worried, and basically, I watched the stream. I watched it. So, you know, I'm just going to regurgitate a little bit of it because it was quite interesting. But the streamer was worried that this individual had been following him. He thought he had saw this individual. He pretty much claims that he saw him, and he thought he did see him. This is when he was checking out the lake. He had went there the day before. He said he was going to go there, so that nobody really knew he was going to go there. He said the day he was going to go there, but he went the day before. And ironically, when he got done and he was coming down the hill to head home, he swears he saw this individual in a truck with a camper in the back, one of them trucks that hooks up to your camper. And literally, he says that he believes it was him. And that kind of made him feel very uneasy, which I can imagine anybody feeling uneasy. So he has broken contact with this Richard and is no longer speaking to him. And apparently he forwarded everything to the FBI as well, all the information he had. Yes. So that's basically what happened. And why, you ask, I bring this up? That's a very good question. So I'm going to tell you why I bring this up. I am going to tell you exactly why I bring this up. The reason I bring this up is because it is everything we've been talking about. It is everything we've been talking about. This is what the streamer is claiming, that this individual, he believes he saw coming down, as he was coming down leaving, he believes he saw that individual, literally saw him in the driver's seat, and he had his head down and he was on his phone, it appeared, is what the streamer said. And in that process, he saw him doing something with his phone. And in that same process, he was receiving text from that individual that he has been talking to. Kind of talking a little bit in riddles because I don't want to make. Give me a second. I'm kind of talking in a way where I'm not bringing anybody's name into this. You know who it is, and you'll figure it out. But it's somebody that we've been talking to. Okay? It's somebody we have been talking about from the very beginning. We have been saying from the very beginning that something wasn't right with this individual. And probably before anybody else was even saying anything about this individual, we were saying something's not right. Well, this individual was basically telling everybody what happened, this streamer. And in that process, he told everybody what was going on, what had happened, what he saw, how he felt. and he just didn't feel safe talking to him anymore. Okay, you follow me? So now this individual streamer cut all contact with him because he felt very, yes, Lisa, pertaining to R. He felt very uncomfortable and very unsettling. And I'm using almost exactly words that he used, but take it for what it's worth. And the idea that he's broke all communication. The same guy that said yes that the FBI contacted him, Richard, said that the FBI had contacted him and that he was going to have a meeting with them in a couple of days. He couldn't produce the receipts that the streamer was asking for, which was, let me see, your camera should have captured that. Let me see that person. So the reason I'm talking like this at the beginning is because this streamer, one of his people that follow him, sent me a message saying that they didn't like the fact that I used a picture on my last live to go ahead and point out him walking up the stairs. I didn't think it was a big deal. It was a picture that this suspect had literally sent him in his email, and he was letting everybody see what it looked like. You follow me? So I couldn't care two shits about it, honestly. You all know what I've told you on my background, what I do, what I have done. I play second to nobody. But I do understand that, you know what? I just sent this person a response saying, hey, this is what I do in real life. This is what I have done in real life. And so you need to understand who are you talking to, because this is not something that I just picked up yesterday. This is something that I have done in my life, in my profession. And I said it nicely, and I said, I apologize if I offended you, to this person, not to the streamer, because there was a person that contacted me. Okay? So with that, I'm done. I'm not mentioning any streamers. I'm not even going to give anybody any kudos. I'm just going to talk about what I know and give you what is real. Okay? Yes. That's how I roll. You guys know that. Okay, so now let's get back to what we're talking about. So the streamer apparently went ahead and was frustrated because he felt like he had saw this individual as he was coming down the hill ready to leave, and he just happened to look to his right and saw this individual. It wasn't so much the vehicle that he was in, the truck. It was the idea that he saw the person and it looked just like Mr. R, which means if you put all these things together, it means that basically, in essence, he believed that it is very possible, if this was the individual, that he was waiting for him. But what this individual didn't know was that he had already went up to the lake to search it. So that individual did not know that he was up there. That's why when he came down, the individual didn't know that he was up there. Yeah, right? I don't either, DD. R was in his own truck stalking and trolling the streamer. That is what apparently the streamer had claimed. Or, in his opinion, he said that's how he felt. End of story. It's a very good possibility. Made sense to me as a former law enforcement. I would say it was very, very, very interesting because I could see that. I could literally see that happening. Now, when the streamer went up to the lake, Rose Canyon Lake, to search it, he said there was no signal up there. There was no signal. Couldn't really have any signal, which then made that individual think like, hey, I wonder if this was a setup, right? So that is what's going on. That's the latest on that. Jody, so I got you. If R had a camper, he was possibly up there camping, camping, waiting till the next day. However, the streamer won't live. He got surprised. The streamer went live the day before because he didn't want to let anybody really know. He wanted to make it a surprise. He went a day before, which probably was a good thing because in his mind, from what he had stated, from what I had gathered, he had stated that yes, he felt like it's possible that this person was waiting there for him. Follow me? So that is where it's at. Now, I told you about that. If you want to go watch the streamer's last live, they actually went ahead and R ended up calling the streamer and couldn't believe what he was saying. And the streamer was just telling them, hey, it is what it is. I just don't feel comfortable talking to you. Not going to talk to you. Everything you say will be forwarded to the FBI and the story. If you want to show me some documents that I'm asking you, then show me and we'll end this conversation. And the individual R that we have been talking about is the same individual, basically was very upset and couldn't believe what he was hearing, but it all makes sense from the streamer's point of view. I totally agree with the streamer. I think he was right on the money, in all honesty. If anything, to err on caution, you know what I mean? Just go to that streamer and watch his last episode yesterday. It's his initials are SI. Just go watch it and watch the whole thing, and you'll see where the interaction starts to come in. Okay? Because I don't want to say any more about it because I'm just letting you know since we talked about R from the very beginning, how we felt that he was just something was not right and that he could very well be a person of interest. He could have very well been the third person involved. We don't know. So that's why I'm bringing this stuff up. I want you guys to hear it because we've talked about it. And now, after I heard all this, I was like, wow, like it kind of put my mind that we were, and it's not only us that felt like there was something there. Okay. So that's why I bring this up like this. Eyes last video, that's what we've been talking ahead and came into the picture, right? Yeah, no doubt. So I just wanted to go ahead and let you all know if you get a chance, watch SI, watch his last video that he did, not the one with the I can't think. He did one here recently, just a little bit ago about the Delphi murders or whatnot. Not that one. It's the one right before that one. Watch it, and then you'll understand. And then you'll understand. Oh my gosh, we were all talking about that. We've been talking about that for the longest time. Okay, when everybody else was laughing and saying, "Oh, that guy don't know what he's talking about. He's crazy. He doesn't know anything. I can't believe people are actually giving him the time of day." Remember all those things people were saying? I'm not so sure he may not be the person involved in this. He's definitely a person of interest. That's no doubt. That's a fact for me. For me, that's pretty damn obvious. Gene says And it's like anyone sharing anything, they all shared other stuff too. I agree. I agree. But you know what? I've not played this game where we do I have not played this game and this game that I'm done in real life other than the people who've been in those positions in law enforcement to do. So therefore, I it's not like something, I guess what I'm saying, it's not like something we all just picked up, right? There's some of us who have done it in our real life, literally. And I'm talking about investigations, I'm talking about reports, I'm talking about case records, I'm talking about handling solving cases. Okay. You follow where I'm going. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really want to mention anybody else's name. I don't want to mention anybody else's lives because you know what? I know what I know, and that's all I need to know. And if anybody, like I told you all before, I'll share my record, compare my record to anybody. I know there's people smarter than me. I know there's people out there that have done more cases than I have, but just not all have. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. But I wanted to give you that so that you could go watch that live from SI and see for yourself everything that was said and everything that happened so you can kind of get more of an idea that no, we're not crazy. What we were thinking is very probable, very, very possible. Okay. It's very, very possible what we all were talking about are on what role he played, if he played in a role. Okay. So I just want to go ahead and make sure that you all get that information because it is very, very, very important. Okay. It is very important. You need to hear it and see it. You know, SI never came to me directly and said, hey, you this, that, or the other. It was one of his followers that sent me that message. So I don't have a problem telling you guys go watch his stuff. He's got good stuff. He's got good information. You can learn a lot from him. I'm just not going to go ahead and pertain into that. But that's where we're at. I want you guys to understand that. So with that being said, now we're going to talk a little bit about this crazy man, a little bit longer, and then we're going to go on to something that I have posted earlier about a case that I want to talk about out of Columbus, Ohio. Okay? So give me 1 second. I got to go get something. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back, everybody. All right. Are we good? Are we good? So we are not that far off on what we were all talking about are. we are right on the spot. Okay, we are literally, I would tell you this. I believe with my heart of hearts that the information he stated over a couple of interviews that he had with SI in this latest, I believe wholeheartedly he knows more than he's saying. Okay? He knows more than he's saying. I couldn't read it earlier because it was uh Nina, good morning, Nina. R is shady, no doubt about it. Everybody should be able to have forewarning, no doubt. Nina, good morning. Carolina girl, I watched that live. Yeah, R seemed very convincing, and he seems to know a lot. No doubt in my mind, Carolina girl. No doubt. Jody, yes, makes me think streamer had previously covered other individuals, co-conspirators with R, and now R is nervous about them being found out, sending streamer nonsense into throw him off. Totally agree. Totally agree. Spot on. Spot on. Paige says, to new viewers, I refuse to be a mod here or anywhere. For your information, thank you. You got it, Lise. You got it. No worries. Amen. No fun, Lisa. Kidding. No, I didn't get it. I see now what people go through in here, and I'm just like, really? It's like you're back in high school again or junior high. Carolina, Tanya, it gets stranger by the day. Carolina girl, my brain will never be the same after following this case. No doubt. No doubt. That is a fact. That is a big fact. Whiskey, whiskey. Yeah, everybody said that, whiskey. No doubt about it. Everybody said that. Thank you. Appreciate you, Gene. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Every one of you. I know you guys know your shit because you come here prepared. I just want to make sure you know that where we're going in a lot of this directions, we're not off. We're not off. We're spot on as far as I'm concerned. If you are new to the channel, you need to subscribe and be a devil pup in the channel. We are growing leaps and bounds, everybody. I just want you to all know that. Bridget says, good morning, people. Amen. So, a little bit real quick about R. After watching that, it was clear to me that, or it was very clear to me that not only does he have issues like we all know, but that there were certain things he could not produce to the streamer that should have been so easy and basic to get. Okay, and the idea that the streamer gave him every opportunity to send him that through email, send him the verification of those FBI agents that came there, he never did. Never did. And so, therefore, in my opinion, it's not that I don't think that he's lying about what he said. I think that he's a part of it and he's not all there. In some way, shape, or form, he's a part of it, in my opinion. And I think because we've been covering it from the beginning when he first came into the picture, we have been saying, and I have been telling you all, it's the details that you look for that make all the sense. It's the details that you search for that are going to open something up. And it was the details, literally, that he stated. You know what I'm saying? It's literally that. So I totally am still down on the line of my three potential people of interest along with that individual as well. Okay. It's just, you can't make this stuff up, everybody. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay. What we're seeing is definitely something that is very strange and odd with this individual. Whiskey River says, I feel he is just keep running now. He was to play cat and mouse game with LE. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But I really do believe that a lot of the things he said, I do believe they were true. The only part I always said was I cannot believe, because there was three people involved. How was there nothing, who was that third person that he never wanted to mention? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who was that individual that he wanted to go ahead and literally say yes, you know, that there was three people involved, and who was the three people? Well, he said the two. He said the brother and the brother's son, but he never said who that third person was. And I do believe that third person very well could have been him. No doubt about it. In my professional experience in law enforcement, that is that's what's coming to my mind. And there's no doubt there. All right. I feel he is just keeping running now. He was playing cat and mouse. Bridget wondered if we really talked to the police or not. That was the whole thing that was brought up in um that last thing that was put out by the streamer, that he couldn't produce any picture, any card, or anything to justify that he did talk to the FBI. He only claimed that he did. Well, he has cameras outside his door, so why couldn't he get that recording? Why could he get the recording of of that FBI showing up at his front door? He had the videos there, right? That's what the streamer was saying, and he was right on the money. So I hope you all understand what I'm saying. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. I hope I didn't have anybody get confused. I hope you all really truly understand what I'm saying, because the last thing I want is for anybody to not get where I'm coming from. The key is we don't know if he talked to anybody. He could have said he talked to the Pope himself. and we would never know if he did or not, right? Because we don't have anything to see him. We don't see any, and that's what the streamer was saying. He wanted to see a picture of those two at his door because he has his video. Remember, he put the videos out there, the cameras, so that he could record anybody who was coming in for his protection. Hi, Mary. Good to have you. Whiskey. I don't believe he was in Cali either. Well, that's what was funny. He lived in Cali supposedly, but yet he might have been in this truck camper type deal. And yet, when asked to produce those receipts, he couldn't do it. Well, why is that? How hard is that to do? Every FBI is going to give you their card and say, call me so we can get, this is my name, and here's, we need to talk. And supposedly he said, yeah, we set up an appointment in a couple of days. Well, hey, guess what? Did you, or really did you not? I'm not saying he didn't or he did talk to the FBI. What I'm saying is just the fact that we don't know, right? There's a lot of shady shit going on, and we don't know what's there. Robert, sounds freaky. Very freaky, Robert. Very freaky. How can we even know how do we even know it's his front door? Very true. It's what he claimed. It's very true. You know? I mean, I think for me, the biggest takeaway was that when this streamer came down the hill after he got done checking the lake, he came down the hill. There was a line. He was seeing there was a long line. So, how you just sit there and, you're waiting. And he said he just happened to look to his right. I think it was his right. And he saw not just the vehicle that was parked there, but he saw that individual literally and he said, man, according to him, he said, I acted like I didn't see what I thought I saw. But in his mind, I think he knew who he thought he saw, right? Because that's why he was saying. And it kind of took him back. He said that the person didn't see him because he had his head down on his phone. And here's the shit kicker. He's on his phone, the guy, or supposedly, possibly it's him, possibly. And he's on his phone and he's typing away something. And at that same moment, the streamer is getting those messages because he's looking at his phone and his phone is going off that he's getting messages from that individual. What do we always say in this whole case? Coincidence? I don't think so. Coincidence? Really? There goes the coincidence again. No, I don't think so. In other words, in real time, he's seeing him doing something with his phone, like he's typing something, and as he's watching him, he's getting text messages from this individual. No coincidence here, everybody. Let's be real. But that's where that's at. And the reason I think it's important is because we have been covering this. We have been covering all of this, literally. I have literally stated that something wasn't right. I have told you guys why. I have told you it's impossible for this to be that this guy doesn't know more than what he's saying, because those little nuggets, those little pieces that he was giving us, okay, those little things, those little details, they mean everything, and they change the complexity of everything. Jody, I believe the streamer is close to the truth, and R contacted him from Get to Go to distract because R is part of it. I mean, yeah, it's very possible. Carolina, I am confused as how R is so allegedly involved in this case. Was it just random, but he knew so much about everything, where Nancy lived and how everything was laid out at the house? Good question. I believe, or I feel, I don't have 100%, but I feel that R wasn't, in my opinion, I could see R being involved in this because everything he had stated was so integral. Everything he had claimed was so integral. Now, here's the thing. When someone tells you exact information that they're saying, this is what happened, this is how it happened, okay? When someone does that and gives you that information, it's easy to validate. You can go back and look. You can look up who his real dad was, his biological father. You can go look up, who his mom was. You can go look up, you can go check that lake with divers and find out, is she there or is she not? It's so easy to go ahead and either believe or dismiss this information, right? Either say it's valid, it's been checked, it's verified, or it's not verified because there's nothing there, right? It's that simple. It's not easy when you have to come up with all those theories from the get-go without anybody telling you anything. And you have to investigate it and figure it out. That's why it takes so long. But when somebody tells you, I mean literally tells you what happened, how it happened, it's not that hard to go ahead and validate, is that true or not? Because anything they told you, if it doesn't pan out, then he's full of shit, right? I mean, it's that simple. And that's what I want you guys to take from this. My whole point is that we are right on the money, in my opinion. When people were out there, and you guys know these people, when other people are out there bashing, saying, oh, giving us a bad name, this streamers are talking about this guy like he's a kook, he's this and that, you know, he's mentally not there, blah, 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 right? When a lot of people were saying that, a lot of other streamers, we weren't saying that, and neither was this individual, this streamer. And now, because of some things that unfolded, now the streamer's like, holy moly, what the hell do we have here, right? But we have been saying this from the beginning. This is not right. Something's not adding up here. No one knows that type of information because that information that he gave is very easily able to be verified or unverified. Follow me? That's what this whole conversation's about. It's not about, did the streamer do this or that, or did he do the right thing? It's not about that. It's about, he had a gut feeling and he broke all contact with this individual because of it, because that gut feeling that was telling him. And I'm telling you right now, if I have a gut feeling, I'm going with my gut feeling without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going with my gut feeling. All right, let me read some of these real quick. Bridget, if he knows those details, he knows everything else. I agree, Bridget. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Whiskey, it's making me mad the FBI won't track him or bring him in. Yeah, he said that that they had talked to him, right? But that's what he said. There's no validation on whether he did or didn't, right? Denmark's in the house. How you doing, Denmark? Nice to have you. Appreciate you. If you like the life, everybody, please subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Not asking for anything. Just want you to be a part of this Devil Dog 88 channel so that we can go ahead and have more people to learn from each other. Thank you so much, Denmark. Bridget, whether he is lying, whether he is a lying whack job or not, I think Ellie should pay him a visit anyway. Teach him a lesson for lying. It's very possible. And here's the thing, everybody. I don't think he's lying about what he said. I really don't. You can be crazy and be telling the truth. You can be not mentally stable and telling the truth. I don't believe that he just made all this stuff up, because he has to know in his mind that if they go check this stuff out, they're going to have to find the goods. Otherwise, they're going to know I'm lying, right? That's what didn't make sense to me at the very beginning. When people said, oh, he's lying, he's just, what did he have to lie for? What was the reason? What gain? You follow me? So that speaks volume to me as a law enforcement officer, as an investigator, as someone who has done real cases. Yes, that spoke volume to me, and that's why I shared it with you all. Shay, how do I hype your video? I'm on phone and you are on vertical view. I am so sorry. It's just I was trying to get on because I was just a few minutes late. So I was trying to get on and I forgot to hit that damn button that makes it vertical. And I don't think I can make it vertical now. Yeah, I can't make it vertical now. I will. I've been trying to do that, and I have been doing that. This time it just got away from me. I do apologize. I really do apologize. We'll get it fixed, Shay. Thank you for being here. Did anyone see 857 old coverage this morning of the day Ellie showed up to Nancy after the 911 call? 2LE went to the front door and knocked. Why the hell didn't they see the blood? Yeah, I can understand that. DD info, if you want to email me, there's my email address from Gene. No, they might have not seen it, Tanya, only because it was dark. You know what I mean? And you got to remember, they went there with the perception that they, first of all, they really didn't know why they were going there. When they talked to Tommy and Annie, it was just to find out what's happening. So they really probably didn't really look like it. I think they just thought it was just, oh, she just stepped outside. They'll find her because that's a lot of cases. That's usually what happens, right? Mental state. Somebody will walk off, get lost. And I think it wasn't until later that they said, oh my God, we do have something here. Radiance, hi all. How you doing, Radiance? Good to have you. Richard needs to be paid attention to. I totally agree, Radiance. They had to have walked right through it. Well, there was that footprint on some of that droplets of blood that was on the outside. There was a slight partial footprint on there. Bridget, always listen to your feelings. I have regretted it when I don't listen to my feelings. I agree. Shay, you got it. You got it. Promote the channel, Shay. Make it happen. Carolina, exactly. Put the pressure on R. Don't just sweep it under the rug. At least point everything you should be looking at. I agree. Amen. Oh, you're always welcome, Shay. You're always welcome. I'm sure it was pretty much 12:15, says Tanya. Whiskey. Here's what I think he's getting bored with this game. It is getting cold and he's losing all the attention. I'm sure he was enjoying all the coverage. I'm sure he was enjoying all the coverage. I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree. I totally agree. And I think that's why he wants to keep it alive. That's why he kept wanting to talk to this streamer. He kept wanting to talk to him and he kept saying over and over, I hope this is not the last time we get to talk. I hope we'll be able to talk. I hope we'll be able to have this conversation. Like he was desperate to keep it going, right? Or to gain that streamer's confidence. And for a little bit there, I believe he did gain that streamer's confidence. I believe that streamer, yeah, regrets ever even talking to him, because I think we don't know what could have happened. If in fact that person that he saw was that individual, who knows what his plan was? Go up the mountain, take him out, who knows? I know it's not crazy. It's reality. Okay, it is reality. So, in my opinion, I think, oh yeah, there's definitely something here, guys. I gotta pick something up here, and I'm in a stupid area with bad signal type. So if we lose, we'll come right back on. Don't go anywhere. Just come right back on. But that's what I'm saying. Okay, and I think that the streamer really was concerned about his safety. He haven't said as much on this last video that he did. I agree, Whiskey. R wants to be in the spotlight and in control. Song, Rad, yeah, he definitely set a boundary. Have we even seen this Richard guy on live video talking? Do we even know it's a Richard? Well, no, we don't. We really don't know who it is, to be honest. It could be anybody. He had multiple accounts on that last live, or that last live that SI did with, that he came on. He did have different accounts. Um, yeah, we don't know if that's him. We really don't. The names that he mentioned were names that seemed to jive, right? They seemed to be able to, we were able to find those names and who was related and whatnot. So that kind of makes sense. But truthfully, do we even know his real name? No, we know what he looks like. We know what he looks like because the streamer got a picture of what he looks like, and the streamer saw him up close, and it's he said it's like a split image. So we know that we're probably on the right track in that aspect. But his real name, no, we really don't know, to be honest. He could be living in somebody else's shoes. He could be literally. Hey, everybody, I am back. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Sorry about the area. It just really was going so good until it didn't. Hope you can all hear me. All right, we're going to get out of this area and see. Let's go to the other side of town where we don't have these problems. Radiance Grace spoke too soon. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. If you guys can hear me, see me, let me know. I'm trying to get out of this area. All right, all right. Okay, good. Glad you can hear me, Radiance. I'm trying to get out of this area. This area always seems to get me. Every time I try to get out, they draw me back in. All right. I told everybody I'll be back, so don't think I will leave you hanging because I would not do that. So that's what we were talking about is everything that was happening with the streamer and R, and everything that we had already talked about, that we felt like there was something there. There was something there. We just couldn't put our finger on it, you know? Um, and that's really it. I mean, that's how it unfolded. But get a chance to go see that video from SI, you will understand what I'm talking about, and it would all make sense. I mean, yeah, it was definitely not. It was definitely very disturbing, to say the least. God, the sun is so bright. Tanya said, "Watch later. I got stuff to do. Have a great day, everyone." Sounds good, Tanya. It sounds good. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Sorry about the lag and the way this is working. It's just this certain area is just bad for business, no doubt. So that's a lot of what's happening. But yeah, it's just interesting when you see everything and then you're asking the question, like, what else, What else is there? Who's all in here now? So I know. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Can you all hear me and see me? I will probably end up going live again at about 2 o'clock. Good morning, Wilmo. Good morning. I will probably literally go back live today a little bit later, probably at about, I don't know, 4-ish, 3, 4-ish in Ohio time, East Coast time, or should I say Eastern time. Whiskey, it is nanos not letting FBI do their job, or they're not taking anything serious. No, I can agree with that, Whiskey. I mean, it just seems like everything is there, so why wouldn't they let you just do the job? Why can't you just go and validate this information? MS Mandy's in the house from Canada. Good to have you, S. Mandy. Appreciate you. If you can, and you're not a subscriber, subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you. Just lets you become a devil pup in the house. Denmark, why can't I share you on X? I don't have an X account. Denmark, I don't have an X account. Maybe I will eventually, but I don't have one right now. The reason I don't have one, I used to have one when it was Twitter. But ever since Elon Musk took it over, I just didn't want to go through all that process. So I will definitely look into that. But yeah, it just doesn't seem something that I really want to venture out too much in. But I appreciate, Denmark, you being here, and thank you for trying to share this on X. I appreciate it. You can share it everywhere you want, anywhere you want. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to pick something up, guys. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. All right. All right, everybody. Whew, it is bright. It's not very warm here, but it is bright, no doubt. Okay, let's see what we got here. Da. Mandy, what share you? Denmark. Can't share you on X. Sorry for my English. You're okay. No worries, Denmark. No worries. I get it, buddy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Wilmo, I was just watching a video from 857 that was taken at around 4 o'clock, February the 1st. And those little tracks are not interesting. Interesting. Wilmo, someone else had talked about that. You can look like they come from a car and it looks like they were leaving fast. Interesting. You think they ought to, you think they would have did some type of analysis on the tires, right? Like what kind of tires, if they were able to tell by the width and whatnot. It looks like they went to the left out of the driveway. Interesting. Very interesting. Good information. Thank you so much. It's so dang bright, everybody. Woo. So yeah, so that was the thing. When you guys get a chance, watch that video of SI and tell me what you all think, because I'm telling you, we're right on the money as far as I'm concerned. You know, the people that were laughing about this guy and talking about his ciphers and burger chefs and all these type of things, and they were laughing, why are these people believing this and that and the other? The guy's a kook and this, that, and the other. Well, you know what? They're not laughing now. They're not laughing now. They're realizing, man, this guy could very well be that third guy or could very well be the perp, you know? It's funny how that works, right? You can send me a link, Wilmo. No problem. You can send me a link. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I appreciate it. You got my email there. And like I said earlier, everybody, in case you didn't catch it, I will probably be going live again at about 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I just want to make sure you guys all know that. Okay, well, thank you so much. Appreciate you. So that's the whole gist of that. That's the whole gist of that. And I mean, it was really creepy. I'm not going to lie. It was very, very creepy. I mean, it seemed like I don't know, even the conversation even that they were having on SI's last live was very like, wow, the things, just the commentary that was being talked about back and forth, it was really interesting. But the one thing he couldn't do was, being Richard, the one thing he couldn't do was validate the receipts of the feds coming in there and talking to him. That he could not. And that was what SI was looking for. No doubt about it, which makes perfectly sense. All right. Thank you, Denmark. Groundsky, good morning. Good to have you, Groundsky. What say you, my friend? Songs in the house. True. And there were no video footage of the feds at his house either. Not even a business card. I mean, look, we all talked about it here, right? We said from day one when we found out about this individual through that first interaction with SI, we all said, literally, something's not right. I told you the little intricate parts, that's the devil's in the details, the little pieces that make all the difference in the world. It's those little things that they say that literally make everything else like literally valid. You know, it's those little things that you hear. It's not the big pieces, because you're going to hear the big pieces one way or the other. It's the little stuff, the little nuanced things, the things that one would ask, is this possible? Is it not possible? Okay. All right. I if none of what okay whiskey. I don't think it is in it's his front door. It may not be. Song says if none of what Richard said is true, I would make a really good. It would make a really good movie, right? Whiskey. If that person was after him, he would have covered face. Wemo, I can't find your email. Gene, can you send that email out again? Post it. It was posted many times. Just give a second. When Jean comes on, she'll go ahead and post that for you. If you want to put it in the chat, that's fine too. No doubt. All right, give me a second, everybody. Okay, I'm back, everybody. Sorry about that. Gotta pay the bills, everybody. Gotta pay the bills. All right, let's see what we got. But you know what, Song? I do believe a lot of what he said is true. I really do. I do believe it's true. The only part that he left out was what role he played in this whole thing is my take. You know what I mean? You can see the tracks as well, Mo, at 602. That's as far as I have gotten. Got you. If someone came up my stairs to unalive me, I'd be damned if I sent a pic to YouTube. I'd be I'd be sending it to LE, no doubt. Gronsky, I noticed listening to the other streamers that many are uncomfortable and still trying to understand the new info from Richard. See, I guess we weren't that crazy to come up with the theories that we were coming up with from the get-go. It's what a little bit of law enforcement background does for a channel, is when you know how to connect the dots, when you know how to paint that picture, when you know how to look for the right cues. And those cues are clues. They just call them cues. So, yeah, I mean, it's just very interesting. But that's the whole point of me bringing this all up, was that we were on this from the get-go. We knew something was not right. I said it. It's not right. There's just too much information that he's giving, and all of it is literally, um, you can fact check it. It's not like it's unfact checkable. You can fact check it, especially when they give it to you. When they give you, when someone gives you the details of something, you can easily go ahead and find out if it's true or not, right? If it's valid, if it's real, because you're just looking, is it there or is it not? Is it this or is it that? It's not that hard for law enforcement to be able to validate it as credible or non-credible. Maybe for the average Joe, it's a little different because he don't have the tools in his toolbox to do those things. But for people who've been there, they know how to go ahead and they know what they're looking for. And we were right on the money from the get-go. I'm telling you, we're right on the money. That doesn't mean just because I tell you we're right on the money that he did it. That doesn't mean, because I don't know if he did or not. I mean, the picture, everything seems to point to that direction in my experience. Everything seems to make sense. Everything seems to mesh. But just because all that still doesn't mean that he did it verbatim, right? Still got to put that puzzle together. Richard also said that he has spent 15,000 hours doing research and his father was the Zodiac. Yes, he did. He did. He very much did. Matter of fact, he also said that his mother is who lured his biological father to the Zodiac and had him unalived, and then his mother and the Zodiac got together. He did say that as well. Gene says, sorry, meeting. No problem, Gene. No problem. Hey, do me a favor. That email out there again. Wilma was trying to hook something up, trying to send something to my email. Could you please post that again? Thank you so much. No problem. No problem. We all got to pay the bills. That's for damn sure. No doubt about it. So, yeah, that's very interesting. That is very, very interesting. Let me come back over here. I'm going to my spot over here where I seem to get a really good signal. And you don't think the guy is a nut? It's not that I don't think he's a nut. I think he's got some issues. Okay, that's a for sure. He's got issues. But if having issues, or in your case, being a nut, still doesn't say he's not telling the truth, if not on all things, on most of the things. You know what I mean? There you go, Wilmo. Gene just posted it. Thank you, Gene. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. There is a lot that's there. And I do think that he can be a little not all there and still be giving honest information. Okay? I'm not so sure he's not the perp. I mean, it is very possible that he could be the perp. That could be why he left out the third player in the game when he said there was 3 people involved. He mentioned 2, but he never got to the third. I wonder why. And here's the thing, maybe he's not as crazy as we all think that he is. Wilmo, you don't have to be Dr. Phil to know this guy is out of his mind. No, he's definitely a few fries short of a Happy Meal for sure. No doubt about it. But once again, just because you're a few short of fries of a Happy Meal, you're still a freaking Happy Meal. You just short some fries, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Even though you're short a few French fries, they still give you that Happy Meal little box, don't they? I mean, Whiskey River says anyone who did this to Nancy is not all there. Well, that's for sure. Didn't say he wasn't a psycho. Didn't say anybody who did this wasn't a psycho, because that's a whole different ballgame. Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of it is, Wilmo. I think there's a lot of acting here. I think there's a lot of playing that role. Taking that role, playing that role. I mean, you got to remember when he said to SI about going ahead and he was telling them that in the black magic or in the satanic or whatever the hell it is, that if they lure you somewhere and you go and you're dumb enough or you literally go, then it's your fault why you become unalive because you were stupid enough to believe it and you went there. Remember, he said something to that effect. So the idea that he mentioned that, and then the idea that when SI came down the hill, I mean, he said almost identical. He said, my eyes could be playing tricks on me, but I don't think so. I think I saw that guy in that truck with that camper sitting there, right there, looking down at his phone. And it looked like he was texting something. That's how close he was. And then every time he looked like he was texting something, he was receiving a message from R. That's creepy. And he said he tried to put it out of his mind, but he just couldn't. He tried to pretend like he didn't see what he really saw. He said he tried to go ahead and make himself believe that no, he's just overthinking it. And that the reality of it all is no. He went with his gut feeling and said, that's it. Broke all contact. He said that R had been trying to contact him constantly, literally constantly, and he's just not picking up. And then on his last live, when he was talking, he was telling everybody about what all transpired, what all happened, why, what took place, and what everybody should know. And when he was doing all that, then R ends up coming in the live and starts like rebuttaling and questioning why SI did this, that he thought he could trust him, that he really misjudged his character. Well, you know what? SI is just trying to protect him and his family, and I don't blame him one bit. You got to do what you got to do. You got to go with your gut feeling, and that's how it works. Yes, Gene said second guessing himself. You know, if it's one thing I can tell you, and one thing I can tell you is this: I go with my gut feeling quite a bit. I literally go with my gut feeling. If something tells me something's not right, it's just like that unknown sense that one has that, you kind of listen to your thoughts, you kind of listen to yourself. And very seldom is that gut feeling wrong. And I'll be honest, very seldom is that gut feeling wrong. Marianne's in the house. Good morning, DD. Marianne, good morning. Marianne was in that chat, in that live with SI yesterday, correct? I thought I saw Marianne in there. No doubt. There were several of you guys that were in there. That was really creepy. How's it going? How's your day going, Marianne? Yes, you were. I thought you were. Yes. It was very creepy, wasn't it? No doubt. No doubt. So that's what's the latest here going on. And, you know, like I said, I mean, you can only give what you have, right? You can only talk about what you know. Unfortunately, as a law enforcement, there's a lot of things that literally is in my wheelhouse that may not be in others' wheelhouses. Gronsky says, I feel safer together with all of you. Well, awesome, Gronsky. Awesome. That's great to hear, my friend. You know, I just try to piece everything together how I would do it if I was doing this case. If I was trying to build this case, what is it that I would do to make it more, what's the word? Make it more where everybody can see what exactly is happening. You know what I mean? That's what I tried to do. And I try to use the skills that I have obtained in my lifetime, in my tenure working in law enforcement, to go ahead and put those pieces together, you know? So there's a lot of things there. I mean, this channel, you have someone who is heading this channel that does have some knowledge in what's going on. And that's not to say others don't, but many others don't. And that's the difference. If you go look at the fine line, that's the difference. Marianne, I feel like Sleuth should go to LE with all the information he has on R. I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. No doubt. No doubt. But that's the thing. Sometimes we think people are going to look and not care. And then sometimes maybe they look at it and say, oh, this guy's a knock job. He's a whack job. We're not going to go ahead and entertain him and any of his ideas. And they may be right. But here's the thing. When something goes wrong, a lot of people are getting in trouble when something goes wrong and you didn't do what you probably should have done. And that's look into this more, you know. And that's how that works. That's what that's about. Not all this other mumble jumble. So let me share something with you real quick. Give me a second. I want to share something with you. So this is the individual that SI said he saw that night, okay? This is or that when he was leaving. This is the individual he saw. I want to show you. This is the picture he put out. Can you guys see that? That is the picture that we think and we believe is R. That is who SI saw as he was leaving, head down, texting, and he was receiving those messages real time. At that same time, he was texting him. Follow me? I hope you all can see that. That was the individual. And then, if you look at the perp, very, very similar. Even the eyebrows. If you look at the eyebrows, it is so damn similar. I'm telling you. There's something there, everybody. There is something definitely there. Gronsky, scary stuff, no doubt, no doubt. But it's scary if you don't know what you're looking for. It's scary if you don't know, you have to watch your six. It's scary when you're going into something blind. And just like as I said, hey, the guy could have been up on the mountain, could have gone ahead. Maybe he was waiting for him so that he could go up there and maybe take him out. Remember he did say, and black, magic and cult and all this stuff, people literally, if they lure you somewhere and you go, then you deserve to be unalived. It's your fault. That's what they believe. So it's not that hard to say. Yes, yes, he did, Gene. He said he was gray, and if you look at that beard. Hang on. That's definitely gray, everybody. That is definitely gray. No doubt about it. You can't make this stuff up, everybody. That is gray. So, do I think this is a guy? I think it very well could be a guy. And if he's not the guy, I think he is, in all honesty. But I think he literally is someone who could have been the third guy in this whole master plan with Nancy Guthrie. I do believe that. How do we know he really doesn't talk to his brother? We don't. That's the whole point. We don't know a lot of things. He says he doesn't, but we don't know that. I mean, do you remember somebody pointed out the fact that there was a truck, a white truck with a camper at his brother's, supposedly his brother's house, and it was parked right out there? Remember that? Could that have been the camper that he saw? Very possible. Very possible. Remember, R said that he liked taking vacations in his teardrop trailer. He would go across country. I wonder why. I wonder what he was looking for. It's just a lot of this stuff with him. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you're looking at the exact same thing that you're trying to figure out. It does make a lot of sense. All of it makes sense. Nothing says this man don't know what the hell he's talking about. Everything says this man definitely knows what he's talking about. Once again, you can be a kook, you can be a little bit slow, you can be a little bit not all there, and still be telling the truth. Remember that. I'd watching a psychic, and she went on Google Maps, and you can see a white truck by his brother's house. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the truck I'm talking about. You can see it there. Was that the one? I don't know. I know that when that was brought up to SI, he said something to the effect of, "That's right, it did have one out there." He was trying to get a hold of another streamer so that he could go ahead and ask him if he had saw that vehicle that individual was in. You know, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to ask him a question, and finally he got his answer. He was hoping that maybe he had made eye contact. Yes, that's the one, Marianne. He was acting like he wanted to get a confirmation because he said it's very possible he would have seen this individual. So there's a lot of things there. And once again, we ask the big question: is this just all coincidence, or is there some validity to this whole mess? I mean, seriously, seriously, is this just coincidence, or is there a lot of validity here? Well, of course, there's a lot of validity here. Of course, there is. So that's where we're at. That's what's happening. The best thing they could do, the Pima County Sheriff's Office and or the FBI, is to send a dive team to the lake, to the Rose Canyon Lake, and search it. It won't take long. You can find out if this individual is telling the truth or he's not. And if he's not, well, he already lost his fame. I mean, he already lost the guy that he thought he could, have a conversation with and have a really, a conversation in a way where it was more of a friend in SI. So he already lost that. That ship has sailed. But kudos for SI to realizing that. Kudos for him to go with his gut. It's better be safe than sorry when you have a family, no doubt. And even if you don't have a family, it's better to be safe than sorry. That would be very interesting, Marianne. How Marianne says, I would love to know of R and his brother. How do they know TC? That's a good one. I mean, yeah, that would explain. I mean, if he knew of them, they have talked or they have communicated in some way, shape, or form. I think it speaks volume if that has happened. The internet is such a powerful source to help vet all this stuff. Absolutely, it's what I said. What I said before, Brownski. When you're given all the information, you're literally handed it on a silver platter. Well, then verifying it's not that hard, right? Verifying it's not hard at all. It's when you got to go ahead and figure out where that information is at. You know, you got to start from scratch and find the perp and reason. You got to find the who, what, when, where, why. You got to find those elements. And then you start working as to who could have done this, who would have done this, right? That's why these investigations take a long time. But the fact that literally, when you are out there and you are literally trying to figure this out and someone gives you all this information, well, shoot, you already know what you're looking for. It's either there or it's not. Elizabeth says, images I saw in mediation, my drawings are always redeeming symbols or messages from loved ones. I called FBI 3 times and nothing. Yeah, sometimes it seems like they just don't want to hear it. It seems like. I mean, Gene says, going on a break. Hang on, you got it, Gene. Marianne, all SI was asking R is proof. R spoke to LE, and in my opinion, R couldn't answer him. No doubt. He was asking just for a card that they left him and a picture that he should have had because he said he was at his home. He could have had because he put up his own cameras. He already stated that he put up his own cameras unless he was lying. And so he said the FBI's came, knocked on his door. They asked him about this. They wanted to speak to him. He said that he would speak to him in 2 days. So the only thing that SI was asking was, show me some confirmation of that. Show me the video part where you have the feds knocking on your door and show me the card they left you. And he would not do that. Well, why wouldn't you do that? If you're really trying to sell your point that what you're saying is legit, if you're really trying to go ahead and prove what you're wanting to prove, that you're really like that you're not the perp and whatnot, well then it'd be easy to do that. It'd be easy just to send that information because you'd have it. But when you don't want to and you try to find all these others, little try to squirm your way out of it by not producing anything, well then how is anybody supposed to believe you? Right? Yeah, they may I still believe he was telling the truth on a lot of things. No doubt about it. But the one thing he wasn't saying anything about was everything he knew about this case, how he knew about this case. Marianne, SI was asking R for proof. Gene says, Dee, did you get my info from that stream about the girl that tied TK camera man on the Kalela together? I did get that. There were so many I had to go through so many, but yes, I did get that. Thank you. I'll go ahead and go over that here first chance I get. I mean, try to dissect it as best I can, but yes, I did get that. And it's not surprising, in all honesty, Gene, because we've said that too. That how this could be a tie between, TC, between Kiki, between the camera guy. I mean, Kalela lives in California. Who else lives in California? You know what I mean? Very well could be a pair of 4 people. So yeah, I think, and we've talked about that. We've talked about that literally. You know, somehow Kiki and the cameraman and Kalea and maybe Luke and maybe, I mean, there's so many potentials. Once again, we don't know for sure, but it all seems to be intertwined in some way, shape, or form. No, no, no. You're not overloading me, Gene. You're good. You're good. I appreciate all the emails you send me. I really do. I really do. You know, it's just the fact of trying to go ahead and, you know, trying to pay your bills and make everything run smoothly, I get it. Believe me, I no worries here. Gene does a great job. All the mods do a great job. No, I get it. No, absolutely not. California, says Groundsky, California is not terribly far from Tucson. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. Got to warn Jim not to go to the lake alone anyway. Absolutely. No one should be going there alone now that what we know. Little Red Bee, thank you for your service. You got it, Little Red Bee. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, everybody, click them likes, click them hearts, click them emojis. Let's build that algorithm. If you are watching, you can subscribe for free just to be a devil pup in this devil dog underscore 88 channel. I'm telling you, this channel is growing and people are doing wonderful things here. Hang on, everybody. Jim is not safe to go to the lake now. I agree. But I think Jim said he watched that too. And yeah, he was very taken back about it as well. Yes. Gene says, do you favor hit like and subscribe? Do a favor, hit like and subscribe, everybody. Do me that favor. Let's build that algorithm and let's go ahead and get more people in the channel. Pass this to your friends, your followers, your subscribers, and your other chat members. Never seen the twist plot coming. We knew something was up with R, right? We all knew something was up. We talked about it. We just didn't know how it was going to unfold. And you're right. We didn't see that twist plot coming. But I tell you what, that last video that SI did, I was like, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. Because that really confirms everything we've been saying. Everything I've been saying, that this man definitely knows more than he's saying, and very well could be that third wheel. That's why FBI and PEMA needs to listen to YouTubers. They just need to do their job. And you're right. You're very right, Gene. They need to do their damn job. They need to look at all the evidence. I'm telling you right now, in my past, in law enforcement, if I had this situation happen, that shit would have been done already. In all honesty, that shit would have been done. The raking the leak, the contacting the individuals, having them come in to a police setting under the police rules, under their thumb, all that would have happened without a doubt. There would have nothing been able to stop that from happening. But then you get into this bigger umbrella, this bigger entity, the sheriff's department, who's not a small entity in itself, and with the power that Nanos has, and then on top of that, the big entity in the FBI. Well, what the hell? Like, why can't you go ahead and do this shit? Gene says, I'm sending you a case that's happening right now out here around me. Good, good. Thank you. Sounds good. We are earlier I talked about another case that's going on. Let me share this one with you guys. So this case happened here in Columbus, Ohio. It was happened on December the 30th. Okay? December the 30th. And it involved literally. Okay, Gene. Yes, send it to me, please. Do me that favor. And Little B, I know, right, with all that people gone missing, they should rake the lake every week. Hyperbole. I agree. No doubt about it, Little Red B. I agree with you 110%. And so the case that happened in Ohio is a individual came from Chicago, Illinois, and unalived a husband and wife in their home at night with a handgun with a silencer. Okay? Happy Maniac Monday, no doubt. He took them out. The sad thing is there was two kids sleeping upstairs and a dog. He didn't hurt them, but this was definitely personal. And he shot the lady who goes by the name of Monique Tippy, shot her multiple times in the face. It was definitely personal. Make no mistake. Gene says, yeah, he was out here by me too, Mr. McGee. That's it. Yes, ma'am. That's who it is. And so, but here's the backstory of it. McGee, I think that's his name, McGee, right? Let me see. I'm gonna make sure because I don't want to say anything that's not correct. Mr. McKee. Mr. McKee. And Mr. McKee was a surgeon. Yes, he was a surgeon. And he was once married, literally, to Monique, who also went to college in Ohio State, along with Mr. McKee. Went to school at Ohio State. That's where they met. And they got married, I believe, in 2012. 2012, I believe they got married. And then in 2015, they got a divorce, or somewhere 2 years later, they got a divorce. Okay. And then Monique ended up marrying a man by the name of Spencer Tippy. And they had two children. You know? And so now, after all these years, something snapped with this individual. He came down from Chicago, Illinois, and unalived both of them. And he left. Now, they were able to go ahead with cameras and they were able to capture who he was. They actually went and arrested him at his work, where he worked as a surgeon in Chicago, Illinois. They actually went and literally picked him up and extradited him back to Ohio. So that happened. Now, yes, so there was a lot of things that we talk about. And the reason I brought this case up is because we deal with this a lot, especially in law enforcement, but in life in general. You know, there was a lot of abusing, a lot of domestic violence, a lot yes, a lot of that was going on in the first 2 years, I guess, that they were married. So she filed for a divorce. They got it. And then he snapped one day, December the 30th, 2025, drove up there and unalived them. Gene said, Winnebago Company, Illinois. We ended up in Rockford, Illinois. Got you. So that's the whole point. This case is very crucial. Now, he did get arrested and he's charged with 4 counts of unaliving two people, 2 counts on each one. So that makes it 4 counts. And Ohio does have the death penalty. And they also have what's called a temporary insanity plea. Not many states have that, but Ohio's one that does. Where that's what they're going to end up pleading, is what apparently is being said by the attorney and whatnot, or whatnot, that they're gonna plead the temporarily insanity. I don't know how that's going to fly. I think it's just to get the charges reduced a little bit. He's still going to prison more than likely. Maybe that may save him on a plea deal not to get the death penalty. But nevertheless, the idea is that this case is going to be going to court in Franklin County. So we are going to talk about this. We are going to definitely get into this case a little bit. Now, it's not like it's unsolved because, well, they arrested him. He pleaded not guilty, but they already arrested him. So it's not like he's out and about somewhere. But I will tell you that, yes, he's going to be fighting for his life as well, which he should. He took 2 lives, you know. But there was a lot of revenge there. There was a lot of revenge. This was very personal, as you would figure, because, you know, McKee and Monique were married. You know what I mean? So I think his name was Michael David McKee. They were married at one time, and he probably felt, that somebody stepped into his marriage, took his wife, while he was going through graduate school to become a surgeon. And, stuff like that does happen, where people will be gone a lot, and next thing you know, people start having acquaintances. Now, the ironic thing about this is also that during this time, during the same time, those two, McKee, Michael David McKee, and literally Monique Tepe, when they were going to school at Ohio State, guess what? So was Spencer, the husband, who's currently was the husband of Monique. He was a doctor, as a doctor, as far as a dentist. They call them doctors too. But he was going to college during that same time. So I wonder what the correlation is there. Did they know each other before Monique and Michael David McKee? Did they know each other before then? Until she ended up marrying, Michael David McKee, only to get 2 years later get a divorce. You know what I mean? So they all went to Ohio State, almost very similar in times, maybe a couple of years apart, but they all were there definitely all were there at the same time at one point. So it just makes you wonder how that all plays out. But we're going to be talking about this only because it deals with an everyday occurrence in law enforcement. It deals with an everyday occurrence in life. I have worked many domestics. I have worked many domestics. I have worked many cases where, child custody, and you're going to these battles. And those are the worst cases to work, believe it or not, is the domestics. Those are the most worst cases to work, because you never know when you go to a domestic as an officer. You never know how both parties are going to react. When you go to arrest the spouse, one of the spouses, the other spouses tend to turn on you. And when you go to arrest the other spouse tends to turn on you. So the idea literally is that, yeah, it is very what word am I looking for? It happens a lot. And it's one of the most dangerous situations, because when you go into a home on a domestic, there's all these objects that can be used as weapons. And they teach you that in law enforcement. And so, yeah, I happened to do many of those. And every one of them sucked, in all honesty. They all were horrible. So, we'll be talking about that case here in the next couple of days. I want to do a little bit more research on it, but that is the case we're going to be looking at. And of course, they're saying that Spencer Tapi and Monique Tapi were they were very liked in their community in Columbus. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. But there is a temporary insanity plea. Buster Brown says clickbait. What are we talking about here, Buster Brown? Clickbait. I'm not sure what that means. But the reality is that's what we're going to be talking about. Nancy Guthrie's not going to go away. We're not going to just drop that information. And the reason we're not going to drop that information is because she should have the right to go ahead and literally have her perpetrators caught, or at least put more attention to. You know, that should happen without even saying. You know what I mean? So yes. Does Ohio have the death penalty? Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Gene. They have the death penalty. And I guarantee you they're going to probably seek it. And that's what's probably why he pleaded not guilty, is because they want to go ahead and use that as a bargaining chip to make a plea deal. That's my guess. That's what they do a lot here in Ohio. Is the state or federal matter? This is going to be a state, if I'm not mistaken. It ain't going to be a federal. Well, it might be a federal because he came from another state to commit this crime, but I think they're keeping it in the state. I think they're keeping it in the state, but it could be a federal because he went across state lines to commit this heinous crime. But I think the state's going to handle it, if I'm not mistaken. It could go to either one, but I think the state is going to handle it. Is this a state or federal matter? It looks like the state is going to handle it. Buster Brown says clickbait. I'm not sure what clickbait is, but does anybody know what that means? Just curious. So we are going to talk about that more. But once again, Nancy Guthrie is still going to be on our radar as well as new information develops whenever it develops. You know, there's always something coming up. That goes without saying. Gene says, no, it's not, Buster. I bet they roll with the deep penalty. Oh, no doubt in my mind, Gronsky. No doubt in my mind. So that's how that is rolling. There's a lot of cases that are out there. I mean, you still have the resolved case now that they're charged the individual. Oh, I see. I see. Well, I guess I had a lot of what in my time in law enforcement. I had a lot of I guess I had a lot of cases that I guess I don't need any clickbaits. We don't need any clickbaits, and we don't need anybody coming in and trying to, stir the pot because they want to be, for a better lack of words, jackasses. Just saying. But that's irrelevant. So yeah, that's the thing we're looking at. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Groundsky. And thank you for taking care of that, Gene, as well. Appreciate you. But that's what we're looking at. When you start talking about domestic violences, that happens a lot. No doubt about it. You just spoke of the other first. You just spoke. I'm not sure what that means. You just spoke of the other first. Okay. I'm not sure I follow. My mind's going everywhere, I guess. But that's where we're gonna go. So Nancy, we're gonna keep talking about Nancy. We're gonna keep trying to figure out, what happened, who was really involved, and go from that perspective as well. The other case, yes, thank you. So give me a second. I gotta go pick up this real quick. It should take me about a minute. Hold the fort down, and I'll be right back. This is what happens, Gene, when you try to multitask, right? You know about multitasking, no doubt. The other case that I was going to mention, absolutely, Gronsky, no doubt about it. That case ain't going anywhere as far as we're not going to just forget about it. That's for sure. And then there's, the other case with the 14-year-old that was chopped up and put in the, as they call it, the frunk instead of trunk of a Tesla. They belong to it took them, um, she was put in a truck in a couple of bags, and she was discovered just because people were smelling a bad odor. And long story short, they did arrest the individual. He was a singer, um, and they did arrest him. And so that was a case that happened in Los Angeles. So it's just unlike with Nancy. They, I don't know. Sometimes you feel like they don't even have anybody in waiting or anybody as far as suspects. Yet we see a lot of people. And we're like, my God, these people are definitely people of interest. Why are they not going after this? Why are they not looking at it more? Why are they not even just investigating or interviewing these people? And maybe they are. Maybe they are. Then again, maybe they aren't. Exactly, Gronsky. Exactly. He can still sing, but he's going to be behind the bars. It's going to be singing the blues. No doubt. No doubt. But yeah, I mean, so we're going to be covering a lot of things. And I know Gene has emailed me many different cases. And it's like I want to touch them all, but it's just, there's so many that I got to try to figure out, what's going on. But definitely send me the latest one you said you had, and it deals with what we're doing. So definitely let me know that, Gene. Send me that ASAP. I can start looking that up. And yeah, I try not to mention anybody else's stream anymore because it seems like people are so, my question was, I thought the whole purpose was to try to figure out not only what happened to Nancy, but try to get more attention put on so that the police could eventually bring her home to her family. They could celebrate with her, or they could celebrate a life well lived. But it seems like a lot of people don't like that. It's more than just that. It's more than just that. So I don't know. I don't know, sometimes. But then again, I look at it and I look at where this is coming from. It's not coming from other law enforcement agencies, right? It's not coming from other federal agencies that are saying this. It's coming from a streamer's YouTube or whatever. And not that it's bad, but when you start taking away or trying to like make yourself more than what you are, then what ends up happening is you forget your whole purpose of what the mission is. See, in law enforcement, you can't do that. You just need to go ahead and get in the grind and find the leads and sort them out. And I would venture to say that a lot of small departments, they work just as hard as the big departments because they have to do everything themselves. They are their investigator. They are their forensic. They are their person who has to do all those things. Where your bigger departments, they have specialties in everything from gangs related to not just gangs, but to forensics, to working with homicide, you know schmurders, and even working with kidnapping and stuff. So there's a lot there to say about these smaller departments who have to run it on their own. In other words, they have to do a lot of these things. That's what makes them so rounded, so knowledgeable and rounded, because they have to be that person that runs it all. So there's going to be a lot of things, but I am going to go live tonight, probably at about, I don't know, 3:34. Gene, what time do you get off today? I'm just curious, being that you're a moderator, if you don't mind me asking. Well, we're looking at probably about April. Hello, all. What's going on, April? Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Just let me know, Gene, either which way. We're probably looking at 4:30 to go ahead and go live today. So we'll be covering some things today as well. April, hope all is well today on this crazy Monday. Gene, Groundsky, hold on to Ford. I'll be right back in a sec. Sorry, buddy. Just was a long one. All right. Whew. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. Phone got overheated. Hello. Oh, good job, April. Glad to have you. Sounds good, April. Appreciate you. Phone got a little overheated, so we had to go ahead and put it right by the air conditioner. With that, like everybody, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Oh, I didn't think it was getting that literally hot in here, but I guess it was. All right, should be okay now. But no, it's everything is going as planned. The channel is growing and growing literally by leaps and bounds, and that's just a fact. We are doing so well. Got a lot of great people in here. If you're watching and you want to be a subscriber, doesn't cost you anything. Come on in, subscribe, be a member, be a devil pup. Let your voice be heard. Everybody's voice counts, and it's just a really good channel. You know, you all know my background. I am in law enforcement, prior law enforcement. I have a law enforcement background, done many investigations, so that's how I roll. That's what I do. But if you want a perspective from somebody in law, hey, there's some out there that are very good, and they have been prior law enforcement. You know, you might find this channel to be right up your alley. Can you guys hear me? I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Good. Good deal. Good deal. 1 second. walk. That's what happens. Long walk. Long walk. All right, all right. All right, everybody. Sorry, this took me a little bit, but it was a long walk up this elevators. Yes. All right, we're rocking and rolling now. I couldn't believe it got so hot in here that I actually overheated the phone because it's only, well, it's 45 now outside, and I guess through the windshield, maybe the sun is bright. That's no jokes. The sun is very bright. So maybe that's why. So, has anybody was able to watch SI's live by any chance? Or his live yesterday that he went on to explain what was going on with the current R individual? This, which streamer do you want, April? April, which streamers do you want? What streamer initials are you looking for? Hello. Okay, so very interesting, wasn't it? Very, very interesting. Did anybody give April the initials of the streamer? SI, maybe? Is that what she's asking for? SI? Okay. Very good, very good. I mean, it was very interesting. I mean, it was very, very interesting. So if you are in here and you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Devil Dog underscore 88, and be a devil pup. If not, don't forget to click likes and subscribe. If you don't want, that's fine. But if you like the live, be a part of it. That's all I'm going to say. Be a part of it. It is growing, everybody. It is growing. And don't forget to click the likes and subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. There's nothing better than when you get it for free, right? And if you like the live and you're getting it for free, that's a double whammy. That's a double positive. Oh Lord. So what else is going on? Anybody got any takes, any opinions, anything? Oh well, no problem. Wasn't sure if you knew who because you had asked for the initials. I guess. Good deal. Good deal. All right, everybody. I guess this is a good time to go ahead and end this. I guess this is a good time to end this. So I want to tell everybody thank you for spending some time with me. I am going to be going live at 4. So if you want to catch me back at 4 o'clock, 4:30, somewhere in there, love to have you back. Everybody, take care. Have a good one. And if there's anything you got to address, by all means, please send me an email. Send me a message on email. Do me that favor. With that, God bless everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all at 4:30. 4:30. We will see you at 4:30. Everybody, God bless. And like I always say, everything is common sense, everybody. It's all common sense. Simplify.